So this video is going to be a little bit of a different video, but it's something that a lot of people have been asking me to talk about. And I talked about it briefly on both the Analog Allies and Game and Talk podcasts, but I understand not everyone watches those. They're not on this channel, although you should be watching them. There's good content over there that I definitely suggest you check out. But I, of course, am talking about the Beat 'em Ups Wood Nintendo Direct situation and kind of the initial thing that happened, what happened after that, and then the fallout from that. Now, my relationship with Wood is very different than I think pretty much everyone that's watching this video has. You know, you might watch him as a content creator, as an entertainer. You might love his stuff. You might hate his stuff. You might be somewhere in the middle with it. But I'm someone that's been friends with Wood for, probably 10 years now. You know, thinking about where I lived when I first started talking to him, and actually a channel that we had with a couple of other people. It's probably been about 10 years. And unlike just watching somebody's video, I kind of know the individual behind the camera, but when the lights are off and, this, that, or the other. We've been through a lot of different situations together as friends. Mostly good, a few bad, a few disagreements on stuff like that. Like, it happens in any sort of friendship or anything like that. But Wood's video, obviously, he made a video talking about the Nintendo Direct situation. And I guess I kind of got to talk about, like, what I'm actually talking about, because there may be some people who aren't familiar with this. Essentially, what had happened was Wood did a podcast, his own podcast, and within that podcast, he said that he knew about a Nintendo Direct happening in the month of July. I believe this podcast took place in June, early June or something like that, and he listed some games that he expected to be at this podcast, or at this Nintendo Direct, this, that, and the other, and then the podcast came to a close. And then with that, in his video, he shows that he actually recorded after the podcast ended. Yeah, I just made it up. I wanted to do a social experiment with it to see how rumors and stuff start to fly around. Now, you got to remember, this podcast is on a secondary channel. It's not on his main channel that has, nearly 2 million subscribers, even though your boy can't even crack 1 million. Like, come on. I get it. He's a little bit more family friendly than I am. But, this is a side channel, a sort of throwaway comment. And because of that comment, this spread all over the internet. It was everywhere. People on X were talking about it, or Twitter. YouTubers started making videos on it. Websites started writing articles on it, and all of this sort of stuff. And I didn't realize that was said on the podcast until I started seeing people talk about it on Twitter. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So as you could see in his video, I DM'd him. I'm like, well, go on. Well, what's this Direct thing? And he's like, oh, how'd you hear about it? And I was like, oh, people are talking. Oh, who's talking? And like right then and there, I knew that there was something going on with this. Because, to be asking me questions when you are the one with the alleged information, I knew something was kind of up with it. And I was just kind of like, okay, you're doing something. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I agree with what you're doing, but you're doing something. So I went and told, because Spawnwave and Nate the Hate were like, what's he talking about? And I basically told them, I said, I'm in a group chat with them. I basically said something along the lines of, I'm not going to be talking about it, and I probably wouldn't if I were you guys either. And they understand that if I'm not going to talk about something that, websites and all these other YouTubers are talking about, then there's probably a reason why, sort of a gut feeling with this thing. And then, of course, Spawnwave didn't talk about it either. And to me, like, I get it. Like, Spawnwave and I, we're not the biggest fish in the world or something like that. But a lot of these YouTubers that talked about it, and a lot of these websites that talked about it, know who we are. Know at least one of us. Know at least Spawnwave. And I found it very interesting that none of them picked up on the fact that John and I weren't talking about it. Like, why is that the case? You know, if it's a YouTuber, okay, that's kind of one thing. But if a website writes about it, that's the easiest pickings for a YouTuber to have. Because now the onus doesn't necessarily, you know, come back to you. You're like, oh, well, this was reported on the website. They're the ones reporting it. What do you want out of me from this? Like, I'm just simply talking about what they're saying and sharing my opinion on it. And so as time went on, I kind of got clued in to what was going on. And honestly, I kind of forgot about it. And like, this was like, you know, weeks after we had that initial conversation. And obviously we talked between, you know, that time frame, but we didn't talk about that because I was just kind of like, oh, whatever. And I was watching all these people just making all these videos and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know if that's the best idea there, Chief. I don't know if that's the move you should be doing with this. And of course, the direct happens. It's a partner showcase, which, I mean, really, let's be real. Wood's little fake direct would have been a better idea. And then obviously none of that stuff came to fruition. And he caught a lot of heat for that. And, you know, in the days leading up to it, we did talk about it. And he clued me in about the video he was making. And he sent me some clips of it. He didn't send me the whole thing, but he sent me some clips of it. He sent me like the intro of it, you know, kind of laying down the groundwork. I think he did like tinker with it a little bit more, at least from the editing standpoint. I don't know, I could be wrong on that. But he kind of, you know, showed me these clips and he was like, well, what do you think? And I was like, well, I'll be honest. You know, I think it's good. But I also am someone who kind of understands the situation, and there's going to be blowback from this. There's definitely going to be heat from this because people got so emotionally attached to the things that you were saying. And one of the main things that I see a lot of people bring up is trust. No, we can't trust him anymore if he's just, you know, doing these throwaway comments, you know. We can't trust his leaks and stuff like that. And that's kind of an interesting thing to me because he's not really someone that really delves too much like into leaks and stuff. You know, Spawnwave, myself, other YouTubers, we definitely talk a lot more about that sort of stuff. He does more like guides, like 10 eShop games that I'm playing and game reviews and game impressions and stuff like that. He's never necessarily been known to be a leaker. So for this to kind of happen, and I guess people kind of assume that because he is a larger channel, he might have access to insider information more so than, you know, other people who are not. And I think that's a fair assessment. You know, I think the main thing I take away from this whole thing is, like, I'm not mad at him because, you know, it's got nothing to do with me. But I can understand why people are a bit upset about it because, you know, you essentially have this thing that was created maybe even not necessarily really by him. Because if you watch the video and you watch the terminology he used, like, it was a lot of loose end terminology. It was a lot of stuff that, you know, you can take to interpret the way you want it to. It was more so the people talking about it that created sort of the hoopla and the hype around it. There's always going to be negativity in a situation like this. You know, people are going to be upset. And if somebody says to me, oh man, I'm so mad at Wood, like, I'm never going to watch his videos again. I'm never going to trust him again. I would say, hey, you know what? I understand. You know, that's your prerogative. That the beauty about YouTube is, and some people don't understand this, you don't have to watch people that you don't like. You don't have to watch people that don't entertain you. You don't have to watch people that don't inform you. So I wouldn't blame someone or like be like, oh, well, I can't believe that, you know, for feeling that way or needing some time off or not wanting to watch his channel for a little bit, coming back and seeing what he was doing. But I think my beef with it, as far as people's reactions to it, are the people who clearly didn't watch his video explaining everything and, you know, seeing the recording of where he literally ended the podcast being live and then made the comment to Fried Biscuits, Fried Biscuits, if you're watching this, I'm sorry that I scared you at too many games. he was in the room when Josie and her friends were filming, and I busted in there acting like a robbery was going down, and a lot of her friends didn't appreciate it, but I mean, I laughed. And her boyfriend laughed too, so, you know, I'm just here to pop the boys. But, you know, it seems like a lot of people didn't watch the video. They just saw that he made a video talking about it. They're like, oh, you just made the whole thing up. You know, you thought you had something, and now this is your pivot thing. And it's like, well, no, it was actually planned the entire time. You know, and this isn't the first time that something like this has been done. John Cartwright did something pretty similar. His was mostly focused on Twitter, and basically made a Twitter account, created leaks, and then when those leaks didn't come to fruition, he was like, yeah, I did it because I wanted to see what would happen. I think this is the same sort of thing and just taking it to the next level. And I guess, you know, people didn't get mad at John Cartwright when they, you know, found out that it was him behind the account when he came out and said it. So I guess kind of like, why is it different if it's someone that you do know from the jump, you know? But on the other hand, I do understand why people would be upset. I'm not going to tell you how you should feel. You know, at the end of the day, your feelings are your feelings. I do suggest you watch his video, though. I'll link it in the description box down below. It kind of gets into the psychology of things and stuff. It's a very entertaining watch. But, you know, there's always going to be heat. There's always going to be blowback from stuff like this. It just kind of comes with the territory. But, yeah. I mean, I guess that's really all I have to say, you know? I guess the main thing to take away from this is if there's a big story and a lot of people are talking about it, and for some reason, John and I aren't, Spawnwave, John and I aren't, there's probably a good reason for that. And I'll leave it at that. Let me know what you think about Wood's situation in the comment section.
I can't tell you how I know. Do with this information what you will. There's going to be a Nintendo Direct next month. It's going to tease a card, Animal Crossing, coming out in 2026.
People are going to lose their minds, 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 lose their minds.
This Nintendo Direct leak took over the internet. It was shared across Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, all over the gaming news world. But here's the problem. I made it up. I made it up. I made it up.
Popular YouTuber of beat 'em ups on his podcast where he said this last month.
There's going to be a Nintendo Direct next month.
Beat 'em Ups believes a Direct will be in July.
Known for his channel Beat 'em Ups and also host of the Nintendo podcast,
said that he had an unidentified source that says there will be a Nintendo Direct.
Woods is not usually a leaker, so this is spicy.
Big Nintendo Direct in July.
And he's not typically a person to like put out leaks and rumors.
Woods said that he had a source.
Hopefully Beat 'em Ups is completely telling us good info.
A very well trusted YouTuber, Wood from Beat 'em Ups,
where a YouTuber came out and said
a new game in the popular Animal Crossing franchise.
A YouTuber said that there's a potential leak for new Animal Crossing.
He doesn't do this, so why is he doing it now? Well, he must be fairly confident.
And I honestly can't see why they would lie about this at all.
Is this legit?
Do you believe him or do you not believe him?
I really hope this turns out to be true. So we will see if he's correct or not.
And I want you to know right now that if you are wrong about this, if you have gotten my hopes up,
he might actually get beat 'em up online if we don't get anything that happens this week.
I just can't see why Beat 'em Ups would lie about this.
I will hire every single Etsy witch I can to put a curse upon you.
And for Wood's sake, he better be right.
Your life is going to be ruined.
I hate gaming leaks. They ruin surprises, they spoil moments that we love, and I've always been curious, how do fake leaks get so much traction? Like, how does something so clearly fake go viral? We live in a culture of constant Nintendo Direct rumors, manufactured excitement, and clickbait YouTube titles. Hey, so I had a thought, what if I leaked huge gaming news? If I followed the spread of that leak, attract its momentum, and then the ripple effects, could I conduct an experiment to find a way to stop fake leaks once and for all? But there was one problem. I am not an industry insider. I don't have any leaks. I am just a YouTuber. So, you know, in a way, I kind of had to lie.
There's going to be a Nintendo Direct next month in July. Metaphor. We're going to get GameCube. I heard it was Pokemon Death
Coliseum
Stranding
was
Director's Cut S.
Witcher 3 Nintendo Switch 2 edition.
Metroid's
I heard
Isabelle's going to show up, and it's going to tease a card Animal Crossing coming out in 2026.
Sorry about that. I actually am very, very sorry about that. I didn't really think of this through at all. I'll be completely honest. I'll go off script and let you know right now that I regret doing this whole thing. I am proud of how this video has turned out and what I learned, but I kind of wish I didn't do it because I did not expect the reaction that I got, and I feel incredibly guilty, and I am very sorry. But I did it, so let's talk about it.
I can't tell you how I know. Do with this information what you will.
I worded what I said on the podcast very carefully. I didn't say where my information came from. I didn't even say how I knew. I said quite literally, I can't tell you how I know. And I said that on purpose for two reasons. One, I wanted people's imaginations to run wild. I wanted to know how the media would interpret that if it did go viral. And two, I was lying. So,
I don't know how much of that is true. That's everything I heard. And I never get information.
And I know what some people are gonna say. Some people are gonna say, oh, sure, now it's some big social experiment. Now you're trying to help stop leaks. You know, all of a sudden, you know, if I was smart, I would have immediately after the podcast pre-recorded something saying like, oh, this is my intention, you know, so that now, when making this video, I could show that clip to prove that that actually was what I was planning on doing the whole time. But, you know, too bad I didn't do it.
I just did an episode of my podcast, and on that podcast, I told everybody that I knew about a Nintendo Direct that's coming next month in July. I was lying.
You were lying?
I was lying, yeah. I just wanted to see if I gave a bunch of crazy leaks, like I had information and I buried it within a podcast, if anybody online would pick it up. Like if anybody tweets about it, if any articles are made.
Headlines.
You know, YouTuber beat 'em ups, 2 million subs, leaks, or says he has insider info. Witcher 3 Nintendo Switch 2 edition is coming soon.
Also,
Animal Crossing reveal on the horizon.
I think we're gonna get it.
If I can data mine any of the info to stop leaks in the future, I'm going to then release this so you know that I didn't know, and that I was just making it up.
I'm sorry for the lie itself. I really am. Specifically to the people that listen to my podcast, who I feel the most guilt for. But if you'll stick with me, I actually did learn a lot about how leaks spread, why people believe leaks, and more importantly, I actually think I've come up with some answers on how we can stop the spread of leaks, specifically fake leaks and misinformation moving forward. Because if you can believe it, this silly little experiment worked.
I've made a huge mistake. I have actually been, I've been shitting myself the last few days. I've made a huge mistake because so many places have reported on this leak. I should have made like a fake account. Why did I do?
I start freaking out here and rambling for a while about how much I regret doing this. So let's just... This all started the very next day after the podcast. I got the first message from my friend RGT85, who messaged me to say, go on. He said, go on July Direct. But I don't want to give away the game. So I said, how'd you hear about that? Your podcast is making the rounds. Is your source legit or what? And that's probably not, what do you mean? Making the rounds. It was this Reddit thread on gaming leaks and rumors. Popular Nintendo YouTuber beat 'em ups. What did I do? Claims there will be a Nintendo Direct next month. They linked the podcast, which I actually really appreciate that. And then the list of what I leaked. Oh boy, I feel my heart racing looking at this. To start with, I want to say I'm sorry to everybody that had to read this. It just consumed their time for no reason. I really am sorry. I'm doing it for a good reason, I thought. I can't decide if it was... I'm changing my mind. I start freaking out again here for a while, so how about we just jump back to present day? This Reddit thread was the catalyst to the entire leak going viral. Someone just posting a thread summarizing what I said. And it's so interesting because what they did is they made it look like every other leak you see on Reddit and 4chan or Twitter. When you see those dot points and then occasionally you're given a source alongside it, it's exactly what a leak looks like. It's, I guess, the traditional format in all of this. My podcast clip itself isn't what went viral. In fact, the views on that episode are only slightly higher than a normal episode of the podcast. It was the Reddit thread that went viral. That Reddit thread then found its way to Twitter. This came from Stealth40k, which has 500,000 views now and 5,000 likes. We have our first Nintendo Direct rumor for July from Beat 'em Ups. Just a little bit of context of what I actually said, which I kind of appreciate the reporting there. But then again, sharing the snapshot of the Reddit, which is the thing that's making this look like an actual leak. It's on our gaming leaks now. So it seems like, well, it doesn't seem like, I leaked it. I did it in a video. It's just, I feel like this is the first step of seeing context being removed. Never heard of him? Why don't we let it happen instead of listening to these random nobodies? I'm actually with you. I know that sounds mean. I'm actually on board. But he's like one of the biggest Nintendo YouTubers. Oh, it's that guy. I knew his face, just not the name. Well, still, I think it's a stupid leak train that needs to stop. No, I'm with you, Matthew. Matthew! I'm actually with you, Matthew. I hope when you see this video, you appreciate what I'm trying to do here, because this nobody is about to not be nobody of yours. We're going to be buddies, is what I'm saying. From Reddit to Twitter, it then spread to gaming news articles. And let me tell you, in my illustrious career, I've only ever made gaming news articles maybe one other time. And it was when I took a pair of metal pliers to a Switch battery. What I'm saying is, it's not the easiest thing to have happen. Pretty much game over for this guy. Nintendo Direct set for July. It's claimed this is on Insider Gaming. There have been a few murmurs about a Direct coming soon, and those murmurs have intensified. This is a spoiler warning as the leak revealed potential new games coming to Switch 2. If you don't want to know anything about the rumored games, it's nice they put a spoiler warning for the stuff I made up. This article actually goes into what I said and that I wasn't sure completely. I like that this one used insider claims. In the episode, Wood claimed he had an insider knowledge. Oh, did I? Yeah, did I say insider knowledge? I don't know if I said insider knowledge. I did not. This is what I said. I can't tell you how I know. So did this article just make that up? Though he stayed tight-lipped about his source. So, do you remember earlier in the video when I said this? I didn't even say how I knew. I said quite literally, I can't tell you how I know. And I said that on purpose. I wanted to know how the media would interpret that if it did go viral. And interpret that the Gaming Post did, because now apparently I have insider knowledge. And even more interestingly to me, they titled this article Insider Claims a Nintendo Direct is coming. So do I have insider knowledge or am I the insider? I mean, neither of those things are true. I'm not really an insider. And I never said who gave me the information. So suddenly, as this whisper game goes on, my fake leak is getting more and more fake legitimacy as it spirals further out of control. But then it was the final boss of it all. YouTube reactors, Player Essence, Robo-Rob Gaming, Crossing Channel, Nintendo Direct in July leaks from Mossy J, X-Rays, Ike Reviews, Nintendude, Switch Force. I actually think Nintendo Prime was the first person to jump on it.
Well, it looks like we may not have to wait long, as we have a rumor from somebody who is not someone that you would expect to hear anything from. The largest Nintendo content creator in the world that focuses just on Nintendo. He doesn't do this. So why is he doing it now? Well, he must be fairly confident in the information that he's got his hands on.
At this point, the first one comes here from Beat 'em Ups over on the Nintendo podcast.
Oh God, what have I done?
It's interesting that he said this because he has apparently an insider information.
I never said that.
On the Nintendo podcast, said that he had an unidentified source.
I did not say that.
Wood said that he had a source.
No, I didn't. Why?
He says he can't spill how he knows, but he's confident.
I said I wasn't confident. I'm skeptical. Don't take my word for it.
Apparently, Nintendo is going to have a big Nintendo Direct in July.
Okay, that I did say. I did say that.
And his podcast partner was like, oh, yeah. He believed it as well. So, and then we'll break it.
I want to stress this. Bingle is not part of this. Please don't rope him in like he was part of the lie. He had no idea. This is all me. He had no idea. That man is not going down with me for this. In 2026.
People are going to lose their minds.
Boom! AC that early.
If he's wrong, I will beat him up. Honestly, you get one free punch.
We have our first Nintendo Direct rumor for the month of July, which...
Oh, this one's sad. This one's sad. Crossing Channel. Oh, it's all about Animal Crossing. Oh, it's so wholesome, and they just got so excited that I said Animal Crossing.
Suggest we will...
Nintendo, please announce Animal Crossing next month.
But this one might have a little bit more credibility than...
for crying out loud.
What we've seen in...
I don't even want to hit play. I can't even, I'm not even looking. He's not even on camera and I can't look.
Another Nintendo YouTuber, one that I actually follow. They've made a lot of really interesting content, and I honestly can't see why they would lie about this at all. They have nearly 2 million subscribers. They really have no need to get the clout or whatever like a lot of leakers do. And they suggest that we will be seeing a Direct in July.
Crossing Channel, I love you. I am so sorry.
Hello guys, today
you can do a second take. Okay. Oh. I've been looking at all of this for an hour. I can't do it anymore. But this had gone so viral. People were tweeting about the leak and not even mentioning me. 200,000 views and 4,000 likes. Now, okay, the source is linked in the description, but that only has 10,000 views, which means most people didn't see that. And that's when I realized I wasn't even needed anymore. Another one here, one from Obi Plays. Again, just sharing like the rumor itself and not the source. At this point, today and yesterday has turned into just, here are the rumors, here are the leaks, here's what's happening, with no accreditation to whoever it is that's leaking it. So now the leak has a life of its own. Now it's just escalating. At first, when I started this experiment, I was worried. I thought, oh, I've tainted this. How did I not realize that of course my leak was going to go viral because it's me. This isn't some random anonymous person leaking something on 4chan somewhere. This is Wood from Beat 'em Ups leaking it on his podcast. Of course people were gonna believe me. I'm the Nintendo guy. I thought me being the one to leak it would ruin the experiment in that way. But it was at this point when I was seeing tweets being spread around not even mentioning me that I realized the leak at this point is spreading without me anyway. That meant that the variable of me was removed. And that is where this experiment can finally begin. Why did people believe me? Even people who didn't know me. I can barely see that. That's better. On these videos or tweets where people don't credit or source me at all, there is so many comments from people excited about the leak, fully ready to believe. To them, this was becoming real. I guess if the rumor or leak just sounded believable, that was enough for some people. Maybe it aligned with what they hoped was true, making them more willing to trust that it was. It didn't matter if it was real, people were running with it anyway. So I went to work getting my PhD in Google. And it was here I learned about something called confirmation bias. This is where we tend to believe things that reinforce our existing hopes, beliefs, and expectations. And we tend to ignore anything that contradicts them. And I saw that happening in real time.
The one more thing is supposed to be just a teaser card. I heard Isabel's gonna show up and it's gonna teaser card Animal Crossing coming out.
Boom! AC that early.
That'll be incredibly exciting.
I think this might be legit.
It was so interesting to me after learning about this to see people say the words, I choose to believe this.
Metaphor ReFantazio is one of them. Totally believe it, and that's a great one.
Why? Confirmation bias. We see it all the time. People clinging to fake COVID cures, UFO sightings based on blurry photos and videos, believing the Earth is round despite overwhelming evidence that it's flat according to one guy I follow on Twitter. In all of these cases, people ignore the facts that contradicts their views and instead celebrate anything that enforces them, no matter how silly or flimsy it may be. People aren't always searching for the actual truth. They're looking for what it is they want to hear. And that's when I learned about something else. I went on such a deep dive. I took this very seriously. I almost ran out of room there. The illusory truth effect. Am I saying that right? Illusory truth effect.
Illusory.
Illusory. I said I learned, not that I got smart. This effect is where the more you hear something, the more likely you are to start believing that it's true, even if it's not. It seems so obvious. Maybe it's just something I've never thought about, but yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens online all the time. Think about this video and everything we've gone through so far. What I said was taken and it was put on Reddit. And then from Reddit, it was shared on Twitter, still not calling it X. Then it was shared to news sites. From there, YouTubers made videos. And this isn't just a progressional path, it's also a cycle, because from here, it kept spreading back to Twitter and back to YouTube until it blew out of control and my name wasn't even being credited anymore. And now it was just an anonymous leak. I didn't actually have to write that word. It just felt like it needed more impact. And if you were online seeing all of this from multiple sources, the more that you hear something, the more you believe it.
Heck yeah. Oh no. Oh no, people are getting excited. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I swear it's for a good cause. At least my intentions were good.
All of these people were repeating what I said. Without verifying it, by the way. That's a side thing, and that should be obvious. One way that all of these outlets and articles and YouTubers and everybody could be better about not spreading misinformation or fake leaks is to maybe verify with the leak, especially when it's as accessible as I am. My DMs are open. So you know how I was worried that I was tainting the experiment by being the one to leak it because it was me, so of course people were going to believe me? There's actually a name for that too, and that's authority bias. You can still read all this, right? It's getting a little chicken scratchy. If someone you trust says something, you're more likely to believe it without questioning it.
His videos get millions and millions of views. He's got nearly 2 million subscribers. So this is probably one of the most reliable leaks, rumors that we've honestly gotten in a long time.
The largest Nintendo content creator in the world. He says he knows a Nintendo Direct is happening. People are going to pay attention, not just because he's really large, but because he doesn't do this.
Think about when you were growing up, right? And your parents would tell you anything and you would just believe it. Like they told you that like Rover went to go live on a beautiful farm. When you were like, okay, well, I hope Rover has a nice time. Or like when Elon told you that it was just a regular salute. But because my words carry a lot of weight, that puts a lot of responsibility on me to be careful with those words, which I am. I am. 100% of the time, I promise I am. This is the one outlier because I had a dumb idea for a video and I am so sorry. There is one more bias that applies to what happens when a leak spreads, and it's called effect bias. This is where people base the truth on how it makes them feel. The emotional response they get from what they read or they see or they hear will affect whether or not they think it's true. Not on how accurate it is. It's quite simply just a feeling.
Why would I buy the Nintendo Switch 2 when I have a perfectly good Switch here at home? I guess a YouTuber said that there's a potential leak for new Animal Crossing for the Switch 2. Oh. I've actually always been a fan and a supporter of the Switch 2, and I can't wait to buy it.
I really hope this turns out to be true. I believe it would be really exciting to get an Animal Crossing game this early into the Switch generation.
It seems fitting. Let's hold hands and manifest, because this could be our time, Animal Crossing fans.
If the headline makes you excited or angry or hopeful or scared, the more likely you are to share that headline, to run with it. That's why YouTubers are more likely to make their video title, YouTuber leaks new Animal Crossing coming 2026, rather than unconfirmed rumors suggests possible upcoming announcement. That one doesn't make you feel much. And then we click on it. We click on the clickbait. We always do. And we hate it. We hate that we do it. But we do it because it makes us feel alive. It makes us feel. And in this case, the case of my fake leak, it was the feeling of excited and hopefulness that made this go viral. Whereas this video is probably more likely to affect people in that way, which I'm very nervous about. In fact, that's me. This is all of us right here, the 4 emotions that we're all feeling. This very fact, this effect bias, it applies here directly to Animal Crossing. It's why my leak blew up more than if I had said something like a new Chibi Robo game was coming out, you know, because then I'm relying on Eugene, the one Chibi Robo fan, to spread this leak for me, and you can't go viral with just Eugene. Recently, a lot of people have been feeling like an Animal Crossing is coming, and possibly even really close to being announced. So when I said one was, they believed me because they wanted to.
The Animal Crossing tease for 2026, getting us that franchise far earlier in the life cycle than Switch 1, which to me, like we can talk about this more later, but to me, giving it to us that early means they have more long-term
feeling right is more important than being right. That's effect bias. Researching and learning about all of this psychology and biases, it's not a journey I expected to go on when I decided to lie on my podcast, but it also is the biggest revelation I had on this weird, deceitful journey. I've said multiple times in this video that I am very sorry and that I regret doing this, and I am and I do. But this experiment quite literally could not have happened unless somebody lied and then tracked it, because it couldn't have been a real leak. If it was real, none of this would matter. People believing something that's fake, that's what was important here. And now we can look at this and we can know exactly how and why our brains activate when we see leaks, so that moving forward, if we see something else, we can maybe better identify if it is real or if we just want it to be real. While it's easy to blame YouTubers and people on Twitter for posting and resharing and commenting on these leaks, it's also our own personal biases that makes them spread like wildfire. And the people resharing them are also just people. While it's easy to write them off as just a YouTuber wanting views, they're also a human being that are experiencing their own biases to what they are hearing, getting hopeful and excited and wanting to believe them as much as you do. It just so happens that they also have a platform to share their thoughts, ideas, and opinions on. And if you're clicking on those thoughts and ideas and opinions to have your biases confirmed, you're as bad as they are, or as good as they are. I mean, to err is human. To be human is good. We can all fall victim to a fake rumor if it's something that we really care about. So it's not like we can beg the people that post leaks, fake or otherwise, to pretty please just stop doing it. I mean, that's never gonna happen. Well, I already mentioned that you could try to verify the source, especially when that source is so publicly available, but that's not always possible. And it also doesn't always mean that you're gonna get a reply as soon as you wanna make a video. So instead, in the same vein, let's take a look at how my leak was described online. In fact, throughout this video, I've actually been intentionally referring to what I did as a leak. In fact, I think I've said the word leak at least 50 times so far, and none of you probably even batted an eye, because that's what I did, right? I leaked something. Except I didn't. I can't tell you how I know. Do with this information what you will.
How do you know?
I can't tell you. I just said I can't tell you how I know. I don't know how much of that is true, and I never get information. I'm skeptical. Don't take my word for it.
I didn't leak anything. I mean, yeah, because I was lying, but that's not what I mean. I didn't show any proof of anything. I didn't reveal anything real. Even if I had a real source, which I didn't, it would have been me just spreading a rumor. A leak is something much more tangible, more real. Like, you remember when the photos of the Switch 2 shell and design and motherboard and everything got posted online from the factory? That's a leak. Or like when footage of The Last of Us 2 gameplay was circulating online well before the game released. That's a leak. What I did? It was a rumor. And if you think I'm just splitting hairs here, I'm not. I really do feel like definition is important here, and I think all of the news journalism articles felt the same way, because all of the articles and even the Reddit thread, and even when Stealth covered the Reddit thread, they all used the word rumor. But every single YouTuber said it was a leak. And I want to be clear, I'm not blaming anyone, because before this experiment, I would have 100% done the same thing, because I didn't really understand the difference in the definition. I never really thought about it like that. But that's where fake rumors become fake leaks, and you accidentally end up misleading the public. I'm really not trying to call anybody out here, because again, would have done the same thing. But I do think this is a key moment here, and it's even reflected in Nintendo Prime's comment section, with one of the top comments echoing exactly what I'm saying, that we need a clearer distinction between what is a rumor and what is a leak. Especially so when I feel like so much of the original context has been removed.
So I don't know how much of that is true. I'm skeptical. Don't take my word for it.
All of that context got lost in that Reddit thread, and they think, well, if it's a leak, surely he gave proof. Surely there's a reason why all of these people are talking about it online. And I'm gonna let the illusory truth effect go to work, because everybody is echoing what he said, so it must be true. So let me suggest this. If you're covering a story or you're talking about something that you heard, if there's no proof or evidence of the actual thing, let's call it what it is. A rumor. Let's save the word leak for when something actually leaks, like my kitchen ceiling recently. Got a big hole in it now. That's a leak. This one simple shift could stop a lot of misinformation from spreading online. So I guess what I'm saying ultimately is, if you're out there and you hear someone say, oh, did you hear that Wood lied about a fake leak? You can say, no, he didn't. He didn't. He lied about a fake rumor. And that's better, maybe. I want to be clear that this whole experiment is not about stopping speculation. It was about recognizing the difference between a leak, a rumor, the truth, and also just trying to learn how leaks and rumors spread. It's fun to talk about games, to speculate, to get hyped. And honestly, we need more of that and less of all of the junk we have to see and deal with every single day. But maybe after this video, if you see another leak or rumor online pop up, you can ask yourself, do I believe this because it's true or because I want it to be?
Hello, that looks a lot better than mine.
That's all right. You don't normally do camera?
No, I don't. And I honestly can't see why they would lie about this at all.
Well, it's really nice to meet you.
Yes, it's nice to meet you too.
But I wanted to call you because I wanted to be honest and open with you specifically about the fact that I lied.
Okay.
I had an idea for a video that I'm working on. I feel so guilty about it now. Like, I really regret the whole thing. But the idea was I wanted to spread a fake leak and then track how the leak spread online so that I could find a way to stop fake leaks in the future, because I hate that they ruin everything.
Right.
That was the intention. Right. Your reaction specifically, saying things about how you don't know why I would lie about this, and that you trusted me. And so I wanted to apologize to you and the entire Animal Crossing community, because that was really the thing that got hit the hardest by this. That was really what made it all go viral, is people just so excited for Animal Crossing, and that was the biggest reaction.
That's true, yeah. Obviously, I can't speak for the whole Animal Crossing community, but I mean, yeah, I was definitely skeptical about the leak. I remember saying in the very first video I made about it that I trusted you and I think you're a good source. What I tried to say is he isn't the leaker himself. He got it from a source or such. I guess that's what the post on Reddit was suggesting anyways. So I did say, you know, it's always good to be skeptical about leaks because, well, yeah, things like this can happen and you don't know if they're true. I accept your apology.
Oh, thank you. You don't have to.
I'm sure I can understand where you're coming from, because leaks can be really frustrating, and the whole sort of leak culture behind games, you just never know, really. I suppose that's kind of my biggest takeaway. Leaks aren't guaranteed to be real. They could be, but you know.
I mean, that was the whole point.
It'd be kind of crazy if they suddenly came out and actually did a Nintendo Direct next month or something, and that was the last thing.
Would you like to predict when, so we can pass the heat off to you?
From what I know of Animal Crossing release timescales and stuff like that, I would say no later than 2027. No insider info, just pure vibes from me.
Well, I love your vibes, and I appreciate you taking my call, and yeah, I appreciate you hearing me out.
I appreciate you at least owning it and coming out and saying what's true, rather than sort of passing it off and saying, oh no, they said this or they said that. You know, I think it's better just to be honest at the end of the day. Even if people are upset, it's always better to be truthful, really. So yeah, that's what I will take from it.
My intention was always to come clean, and it was. Even now, I could just say my source was wrong and I made a mistake and I'm never going to trust them again, and pretend like it was all a lie. I could do that, but that's not the video. That was never the point. The point wasn't to actually lie in the end. It was to be honest and to tell the truth and make this video. The video's over, if you couldn't tell. But there was a couple of things I did want to say that I just couldn't find a good spot to add them into the video. For anybody that still doesn't believe me that the whole point of this was that I hate gaming leaks. I had this Zelda Switch 2 weeks before Nintendo even revealed it. Before people even knew if this was a real thing, I had it in my house. But I didn't say a word. I didn't leak. I literally, this would have been a leak. But it's not mine to leak. Also, and most seriously of all, I want to give a big apology to Mayor Ren.
I will hire every single Etsy witch I can to put a curse upon you.
Please don't put that Etsy curse on me. And if you do, sucked in. I already bought my own Etsy protection spell. And I said I need a protection spell to protect me from other possible incoming witch spells. So I've Yu-Gi-Oh! Trap card your spell in advance. You can't get me. Please don't do it. I'm scared of spells. I was scared even buying this. And it was only $8. But I do promise you I will never lie to you again. And if I do lie, I'll be honest about lying eventually.
Eventually, the truth will be out.
Eventually, the truth will come out, and it'll be through my mouth for the first time. So, you're welcome.
Wood said on Nintendo that the next Direct would have Animal Crossing news. The f does he know?
So this video is going...
So you clicked on this video, and let me say, don't be mad. Hopefully you read the whole title, but this is not any news on Nintendo Switch or Pokemon. Now, I cannot be the only person who watches these videos daily of these Nintendo YouTubers, these Pokemon YouTubers. Oh, we got a new leak. Like, damn. I know I'm not the only person that's tired of this. Every single day, we got Sunbro Nation, we got HDV who I feel is the worst. We got Switch Force. We got all of these Nintendo YouTubers, all of these Pokemon YouTubers. Every day, every single day, somebody's making a video on how we got a new rumor or a new leak. Now this is my thing, right? This is my thing. Rumors, if you want to base your channel on rumors, I mean, that's fine. I guess some people like to listen to that shit. But when you make videos and your thumbnails is leaks, right? Then in your video, you're talking about how stuff is a leak, and then later find out it's not a leak. A leak is something that's true, okay? So I think y'all need to go to everything. Don't say leak. Everything is a rumor until the official people put it out. It's not just Nintendo, not just Pokemon, just anything in general. Everything is a rumor, right? Everything is a rumor until it's confirmed. And once we know it's confirmed, we know that rumor is now a leak. That was something that was leaked. You cannot say something is a leak and nothing official has came out for it. Y'all people gotta understand the difference between leak and rumor. Now, all these people I just named plus more, go back to like the beginning of last year, 2024. All year, right? Every single week. Oh, we're getting Pokemon news. Oh, we're getting Nintendo news because this person said this, and then this other person corroborated, and they heard the same things and this and that. Y'all need to know, there are people out there who just like the attention. They like to put out misinformation, and they like to see people react. You know, I'm assuming they don't got many friends, many people to talk to. There's people out there that like to troll, that like to just make up stuff, so people are talking about, you know, stuff that they made up for whatever reason. There are people like that. Now, y'all remember when the Nintendo Switch Pro, y'all remember that thing that never happened, but so many YouTubers were saying, oh, we got a Pro, this person confirmed it, this person confirmed it, and this and that, and it matches up in the timeline. And if you think about it, and we should be getting Pokemon news around this time, because we've never went this long without Pokemon news, and it's November, and we should be getting a game, because every November we get a game, and stop. Damn. Like, I don't understand why we are in this age where we feel like we're always, you know, owed information. Guess what? If they don't show any Pokemon shit, we're gonna buy it regardless. I don't know why I have friends like this and shit like that. Oh, they need to show us, you know, what the starters look like, and they need to show us, you know, the final evolutions, and we need to know the name. Why the fuck do we need to know that it's Paldea? Huh? Because it's a real conversation I had. Why do we need to know the region name? Like, what is the region name being Paldea gonna do for you now? Why do we feel like we're owed all of this information? I just remember the time. I love the time back when we had a commercial for some shit. Most of the time it wasn't even fucking, you know, gameplay footage. It's like Crash Bandicoot in stores or whatever, and oh, a Crash game is coming out. Fucking Spark and Zero, they leaked every single fucking character before the game release. Like, y'all don't want to be surprised at all. Y'all just want all of the information about something. Oh, I need to know all of this shit before I buy it. I need to know everything. Damn. You don't want no surprises for yourself? Like I said, the Spark and Zero, they released every character that was fucking coming out. I remember back before, you know, I'm old. Actually, today's January 7th. It's my birthday. I need to get this video out tonight because, like I said, with the leaks and leaks and leaks and leaks, January 8th is when we were supposed to be getting Nintendo Switch 2 stuff, right? I can't keep up with all of these leakers, you know, Riddler Coup and Piorio, and I can't keep up with all them. But somebody said we was getting information on the 8th. So everybody kept saying on the 8th, on the 8th, on the 8th, on the 8th, Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch 2. Then whoever it was came back and said, oh, hold on. No, it's not Nintendo Switch 2, it's Xenoblade, right? But before that, everybody, Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch 2. And it makes sense, and it lines up because of this, and because of that, and yeah, and blah, blah, blah. Just for this motherfucker to come back and say, oh, no, it's not Nintendo Switch news, it's Xenoblade. And then I listened to somebody else, they was like, yeah, and shit, if you would have looked at his profile pic, it's a Xenoblade profile pic, so clearly this is like a Xenoblade fan. Right? But everybody just took it and ran with, oh, this is Switch 2 stuff. This is the day. This is the day. Y'all said that last week. Not last week. Last year. For every single week. Every week it was, next week we're getting this. And then that week came, nothing. What happened? And they pushed it back to next week. That week came, nothing. Y'all did that for all 52 weeks of last year. With Pokemon and Nintendo. Every single fucking week. Every week. Like, video after video after video. Some of these YouTubers, 2, 3, 4 videos in a day. They say what the rumor is, They call the rumor a leak. And like I said, leak is something that is true. When something gets leaked, it's true. They had all these rumors that they called leaks that did not happen, right? And then it was always, oh, well, it got pushed back, and oh, they heard about the leaks, so they just pushed. Shut the fuck up. The Nintendo Switch Pro that everybody kept talking about didn't even fucking happen. Oh, it was because COVID and blah, blah, blah. And then we ended up getting the OLED. Like, it probably was the OLED the whole time. Maybe it was the OLED the whole time, but we'll never know. And y'all call all of those leaks, or y'all call those rumors leaks. And now if we look back at it, now that we know, that shit that y'all was calling leaks, it's not a fucking leak because it never happened, right? Going back to my Sparking Zero reference, right? They just released every character, like, over time. You eventually see every character. I remember the days where we just got a game, we played it, and this shit was a surprise to us. I remember playing Tekken 3, the best Tekken game there is. Tekken Tag 2, debatable, because, yo, I don't know why they don't have Tag 3, but anyway, I remember playing Tekken 3, right? Beating arcade mode, and then my character selection screen is shifted a little bit. And I'm like, yo, hold on, this character has been slightly moved. Only to notice I unlocked somebody. I unlocked a character I've never seen before. Well, damn. What happens if I beat the game with this character? And I beat arcade mode with another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And then I get my fucking favorite character of all time in Tekken, Brian Fury. And it's just like, yo, this is my, like, when does it stop? I didn't know nothing about these characters. Nothing. So it's a complete surprise to me when I play the game and then just this other shit happens that I'm not even expecting. Like Pokemon Gold and Silver. I go through the whole region, beat the game, get all the badges, beat the Elite Four, and guess fucking what? I unlocked Gen 1, the whole region, and I'm able to get all of those Pokemon. Completely unexpected. Did not know nothing about it. This is back when Pokemon games were good. That's a whole separate video on how Pokemon games now are trash, but yeah, I unlocked the whole region, which I thought was something that was going to go forward through each Pokemon game, and didn't. That's why Gold and Silver is one of the best ones to me. Like, Pokemon, nah, I'm not going to do it. I'll make a separate video on why Pokemon games now are trash. But I don't understand why we feel like we are owed all of this information and we need to know every single thing about all of these things. Why? I don't even know. I never see this with Sony and Xbox fans. I never see this, like, oh, when are they going to announce the new Xbox? When are they going to announce the new PlayStation? Maybe it's just my algorithm. I don't know. I am a PlayStation guy as well as Nintendo. I'm not really an Xbox, but I know I have Xbox friends. I know about Xbox games. I think Fable was announced. My friends be talking about that. But I'm not constantly seeing every week, oh, Fable, Fable, Fable. Next week we should get Fable information. Next week we should get Fable. Next week. I don't see that stuff with other stuff. I only see it with Nintendo, and I only see it with Pokemon. Now, like I said, maybe it's just my algorithm. I'm in the Nintendo algorithm, so maybe that's all I'm being seen. Maybe it is going on with other stuff, but goddamn, I don't think to this degree. I really don't think to this degree. Like, it's insane how people just feel like, you know what's gonna happen? I just wish that they just don't put nothing out as far as the Nintendo or Pokemon. They say, hey, it drops this day. And guess what? Y'all gonna buy this shit regardless. All of us. We're all gonna buy all of this shit regardless. If there was no trailer that came out, and it was just an announcement, they saying the Nintendo Switch 2 is dropping on this date, or the new Pokemon game, Legends ZA, is dropping on this date, we're just gonna buy it. Alright, we don't need to see all the new gimmick and the region name and the... Like, damn, why do y'all want to see the final evolutions? Like, why? Just play the game and just see it when it happens. I don't understand why. We just feel like we just need to know every single thing about these games and these systems. They gonna announce the shit when they announce it. Y'all keep letting all these YouTubers. I fell victim for it too, and I read like HDV comments, right? And it's like, damn, you saying the same shit that you said, you know, the last 367,000 videos. Like you're not saying nothing new. You're not saying nothing new. You just making a video to make videos, and you making the nice thumbnails with the arrows pointing, you know, and the Pokemon right here, and the zoom up, and the Switch 2 logos, and like all HDV. I feel like he's the worst with it, but you know they're all doing it. They're all doing it. Now you got some who, the way they present it, I feel like it's more tolerable to me because they're not trying to present it as, yo, this is fact. They're like, I know HDV does, do the take it with. So you clicked on this video and let me say, don't be mad at other stuff, but that guy announced the shit when they zoom up and the Switch 2. You're not saying nothing new. You're not saying nothing new. You just making a video to make videos, and you making the nice thumbnails with the arrows pointing, you know, and the Pokemon right here, and the zoom up and the Switch 2 logos, and like all HDV. I feel like he's the worst with it, but you know they're all doing it. They're all doing it. Now you got some who, the way they present it, I feel like it's more tolerable to me because they're not trying to present it as, yo, this is fact. They're like, I know HDV does do the take it with the grain of salt thing too. A lot of them do, like, you know. But HDV, like, it's just not him. He's the one I see the most, and it's just like it's excessive with the amount of videos he comes out saying the same thing. But they all cover the same rumors, right? The same rumors, call them leaks, and then they say, yeah, based on what they're saying, I believe this to be true too. And that's the wrong answer. Now you can go back and look at a lot of these Nintendo YouTubers, a lot of these Pokemon YouTubers. Just go to January of 2024, listen to like 5 videos, and see how much of that shit is true. See how much of that shit actually came true. As far as when shit was getting revealed, or leaks or rumors and all that, see how much of that shit was actually true. Like, it's just crazy. Like, I know I'm not the only one that's tired of this shit. And I know this because I read comments. So I know a lot of y'all are feeling what I'm saying, and I know a lot of y'all are gonna defend them because, you know, they got the subscriber count. I ain't even got 1,000 subscribers. So they got the fan base, they got the subscriber count, and I know a lot of them subscribers gonna come and try to attack me. Maybe if they even see the video, because most people might not even see this video, but it's just like, god damn, can we just let the shit come out and then talk from there? Now if you need to just, if you're on the YouTube grind and this is the only way you make money, then I guess I get it, but it's still like, man, is this what you want to be known for? Like, most of your videos is just misinformation. It's just stuff that's not correct. Like, it's just not. Like I said, go back and listen to them videos and just see how much of that stuff is true. A lot of that stuff they talking about is not fucking true. Video after video, lie after lie, rumor after rumor, which y'all are saying are leaks. Like I said, leaks are shit that actually comes true. We find out later that it was leaked. Alright? Later. It's like Unite. Now, as far as Pokemon Unite, every character, every Pokemon that I've seen leaked has come to fruition because they're more like data mining the game as updates come out, and they're seeing like Pokemon names and stuff like that. So like every time I've seen something that say we're getting this Pokemon, we got it. Psyduck, Tinkaton, which I didn't even believe because Tinkaton was in that other mode, you know. Darkrai, Psyduck, Tinkaton, and just everything before that. They all came true because people are looking inside of code. So that's a leak. Those are real leaks. Now this other shit that other people are talking about, that shit is, everything is a rumor until Nintendo or Pokemon confirm it. Like everything is a rumor until it's confirmed. Even all of this Switch shit that we're seeing. Because we've seen stuff before that wasn't even a thing. So, no matter how real it looks and all that, and the motherboard and the controllers and all of this shit that y'all keep making videos on, and y'all saying it's leak and it's gotta be a leak, and everything is a rumor until the official people put it out. It's as simple as that. Now, I don't know, I think maybe I might think of some other stuff after I'm done with this rant and stop the video. That always seems to happen. It's always some good shit I'd be like editing, and I'd be like, damn, I should have said that, but I think I got everything covered. Like, just stop. Just stop. Actually, I ain't even gonna say stop. Just do what you do. But I know there's a group of people out there that feel what I'm saying, so I'm gonna just leave it right there.
It's officially October 1st, 2024, and we have to have a broad discussion today about just how likely it might be to see Nintendo reveal the Switch 2 as soon as this month, or if it might slide into next year, because I do actually think that October is the swing month where we're either going to learn about this console in the current calendar year 2024.
Look, if you've watched any of my videos or followed me for any amount of time, you know it's very tough to rattle me and make me upset or make me angry. But this entire beat-em-up situation is insane and has me so frustrated that I had to make a video immediately to give you my reaction and really tell you exactly what's going down here and open up the playbook. Look, I stopped mid-salad. Okay, that's how serious I take this, because I do not think lying to your audience is something that should be normalized or made okay. And honestly, I see right through everything Beat 'em Up says he's trying to do, and as a YouTuber of over 15 years, I know the playbook. I'm gonna open the playbook for you. He thinks you won't know this, but I do, and I'll share it with you, because the fact of the matter is, Beat 'em Ups did not do this for the greater good of the community, and Beat 'em Ups did not own all of the fake leakers. Beat 'em Ups owned himself. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from Switch Force, right off the bat. Leveraging your relationship and trust with your audience to conduct an experiment or any sort of thing that betrays that trust, I think is wrong. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's clever. I don't think it's interesting. I don't think it's illuminating. Beat 'em Ups, here's what happened.
I can't tell you how I know. Do with this information what you will. There's going to be a Nintendo Direct next month. It's going to tease a card, Animal Crossing, coming out in 2026.
People are going to lose their minds, lose their minds, lose their minds.
He claimed that he knew there was a Nintendo Direct. This was back on June 21st. He said that in July, there's a Nintendo Direct. Okay, he said it on his Nintendo podcast. He said he can't say how that he knows, but he knows there's a Nintendo Direct. It's going to have the Metroid Prime 4 date. It's going to have Witcher 2 or Witcher 3 Switch 2 edition. It's going to have Animal Crossing. That was like his big kahuna, right? He leveraged Animal Crossing knowing that that community is super excited and knowing that that community, in a lot of cases, isn't as keyed in to what's going on in the Nintendo sphere. And then it blew up. Okay, so YouTubers started covering it, websites started covering it, Reddit started covering it, Twitter started covering it, everyone started covering this leak that he said was a leak. He said it. And there's some nuance here that makes this so different than the experiment he claims he's trying to conduct, and I'm going to explain that to you too. He says that he hates leaks.
I hate gaming leaks. They ruin surprises, they spoil moments that we love, and I've always been curious, how do fake leaks get so much traction? Like, how does something so clearly fake go viral?
He wanted to figure out how leaks work so that he could help stop leaks, and he doesn't want fake leaks to happen, and it sort of sounds like he doesn't even want real leaks to happen. He doesn't like leaks. So the purpose of this lie, of betraying the trust of all of his audience, was for the community. It was for you. But the fact of the matter is that's just not true. First of all, this entire experiment only works for one reason and one reason only. If I did this experiment, it probably would not work. But Beat 'em Ups is the largest individual Nintendo content creator probably in the world. That puts him in a super unique position where people are paying attention, people trust him, people believe in him, people like him, and websites, YouTubers, and accounts are going to pay attention because it's him. This is not an experiment about how a leak spreads. This is an experiment about how the leader in a specific genre, a piece of the YouTube pie, has an audience. Duh. We knew that he had an audience, and I was one of them. I've always respected and liked Beat 'em Up's content. There were things I noticed really early on, like how he'd casually walk around as he talked and conveyed his info. Like, I thought that was really cool and personable, and I even tried to learn from him a bit, see what he did so well. I thought the guy was a genuinely good dude, and now I kind of think this is just a super jerk move. He says that he regrets the whole thing.
In July. Metaphor. We're gonna get GameCube. I
Shadow
heard it
drops.
was Pokemon
Death
Coliseum
Stranding
was one.
Director's Cut S.
Witcher 3 Nintendo Switch 2
Metroid's
edition. I heard
date.
Isabelle's gonna show up, and it's gonna tease a card Animal Crossing coming out in 2026.
Sorry about that. I actually am very, very sorry about that. I didn't really think of this through at all.
He says that he's sorry for the whole thing. He says he did not know it would blow up like this. Look, this guy has an insane fandom, an audience, and a channel with tons of subscribers. He's ran it for many years, he makes a ton of money off of it, and he knows what he's doing. There are two options here for Beat 'em Up's guilty apology, mistake, misstep. Either he's super ignorant or he super wanted to make money. And let me tell you, as someone that's done YouTube for 15 years, we know how these things are going to go. And there's not an ounce of me that believes that Beat 'em Ups didn't know how this was going to go. Look, the only reason it got picked up is because Beat 'em Ups is huge. If you did this or if I did this, even with Switch Force being decently successful, it's not getting picked up by these major websites. YouTuber Switch Force says there's a Nintendo Direct. Dude, that guy says it all the time. He talks about getting excited about Directs all the time. This was different because Beat 'em Ups carefully established your trust, like a great YouTuber does. Beat 'em Ups made sure that he didn't just blab about leaks, he didn't just make things up until he did.